Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Shannon for $5. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Congrats on 10K. We love your big, beautiful offering. Thank you. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's having a good day. Hello, Divinity, Critter, Parallax, RN4M, Brandon. Hope everybody's having a good time so far. Hello, Mark. Yeah, the first 10,000. Yep. The first of many is the goal. Oh, somebody texted me. Who's texting me tonight? Yeah, guys, I mean, really, tonight is really just going to be kind of like whatever anybody wants to do, and, yeah, just kind of relaxing and going from there. Probably not going to be super long tonight. Some stuff has come up I have to take care of. So I'm going to be taking care of that, so probably on maybe like an hour or so. Don't mean to cut it short, but that's kind of where we are on things. Actually, hold on here. Yeah, I am sorry, guys. It's a spiffy hairdo. Yeah, well, getting a little hot here when I was taking care of something, so could slick it back. Au naturally. So it's 28th. What does this person want to do? Sorry, they just sent me an email. 7:27, 2 p.m. Then, okay. Sorry, guys. I just when it pops up like this. I know, riveting television. All right, so there we go. Exit, don't exit. All right. So I'm kind of down. Yeah, not really too down. Anyways, haircut looks sick. It's like, thanks. Yeah, it just can do that normally. Let's see here. Hello, Abby. How you doing? Yeah, you remind me, George Lucas. This is not the first time somebody's mentioned that. Hopefully, not with making shitty movies. Yeah, we could talk about Jalen Walker. I think there's enough out now we can talk about him, have a bit of an idea what's going on. Let's see. Hey, Matthew. Hi, Gixer. Hey, Gabby. Thank you guys for all being here tonight. I always appreciated. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So just another minute before we really get going. Shoot. Let's see here. YouTube Studio. Make sure this is fixed. All right. What about the crazy? Yeah, that's Sarah Boone. That's at the end of the month. We will be covering that. I'll probably be working out of the office, but we will be covering that one. That one's going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. Hi, Carlos. Hi, Victoria. Hi for minutes. Well, hello. Let's see what else. Oh, hi, Kale Burke. All right, guys. So, yeah. It's kind of weird. I didn't know if, I thought it would be weird getting to this point, but heck, I thought getting to, 100 subs was weird, and then I thought getting, 500 was weird. I thought getting 1,000 was weird, so, this is definitely, I don't know, weird to me, so, yeah. And last week, I honestly didn't realize that was going to happen. I was kind of, at 90-some hundred for, ever, so, yeah, it feels like that, but hey, I'm pretty happy with the progress. I mean, I went from, November to now. I mean, that's pretty good. I don't think that's anything to complain about at all. Okay, so I guess if nobody's asking questions, I will, I guess we'll start off with somebody who brought up a topic, and we'll kind of go from there. Graham brought up Jalen Walker. And yeah, we could talk about him. And also, here goes my monetization. So if you guys don't know, anybody who doesn't know, Jalen Walker is a guy, was a guy out of Akron who ended up getting shot by the Akron Police Department. That's a town south of Cleveland, about about an hour away. And yeah, so what basically happened is the police tried to pull him over, and then there was a chase. The police alleged that there was gunfire shot at them during the chase. When you watch the body cam, you hear some thuds. Who knows? They claim they found shell casings on the road during the course of the chase that did match up, supposedly, but I guess they're waiting on the tool mark analysis. And if you guys are wondering how they can do shell casings, the extractor, the ejector, the firing pin, those all are tools. They leave tool markings on shell casings. The chamber can have some distinguishing marks or artifacts that leave markings on it. So they will try to compare those and determine whether or not he actually did shoot. And I don't think that's been released yet. Anyway, during the chase, he ended up bailing out of the car. The cops chased after him. And as he turned around at some point, he got shot at 90 times. And 60 times he was hit, roughly. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's pretty close. I think there is some video we can watch. Let's see if it's available. Let's see here. Getting to 10 was weird for me. So, yeah, anyways, I will pull up, because this does, I think, show some things. And as much as I think, people can complain about the New York Times, this does work for us as far as what we're looking at. So there's a picture of Jalen, obviously, before things were going bad. During the chase, let me see if there's other pictures. Okay, no. It's just the one picture. This is the picture as they stopped him and as he got out of the car. Obviously, it's not the most flattering picture in the world. There were people claiming, oh, he's a DoorDash driver. Well, it's June. It's the end of June in Ohio. You don't need a ski mask. It's not that cold. But that said, I don't think that warranted what happened to him. And let's see if I can find that, because I think you guys, well, yeah, it's a bit much. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, we've got it. So, oh, let's see here. Oh, real quick, how do they know he was unarmed? Well, when they found him, he was unarmed. But at the time, yes, he was the guy who shot at them and then ran. So that doesn't help things here. Hold on. All right, so we do have the video, and the video is at least getting to the part where he actually does get stopped, because otherwise we're just sitting there looking up at the steering wheel. It doesn't do too much for us. So let me know if you guys can hear sound.
Approximately 40 seconds after the driver of the vehicle fled from the attempted stop, a sound consistent with a gunshot hit Claremont Street. At that point, the driver...
We don't need to hear their narration, but we'll just start right here. And then it gets to what happens.
The suspect fled from the vehicle on foot, turning and facing officers momentarily. He continued to run, evading arrest.
Is there an actual footage?
Officers attempted to safely take... The deployment of
yes, they did try to tase him, but obviously wearing jackets does not help. That is not a pro tip, but it's true. The more layers you have on, the harder it is for a taser to work.
The pursuing officers.
Now, this is where... Is he turning the reach? I don't think so. Is he just turning? I don't know. But do I agree that he was, reaching?
Officers
but the way things go, I guarantee you most people would leave it alone. They would leave it out of his hands. I will state they did find a firearm in the car. But hey, it wasn't on him at the time, so you still have to justify deadly force. Oh, is this... Okay, here we go. Let's see if it... Okay, here we go.
Slowing down here, slowing down. You fucking move! Hey, don't fucking move! Don't fucking move!
So here we go.
Show me your fucking hands!
Okay. That right there. Why does he have a mask on? What do you mean I wrecked again? I never had mute on yet. What the fuck? Why does he have a mask on? I don't know. But it's, you are allowed to wear a mask. That's not illegal. That is a problem, though. Even if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, okay, maybe he turned and they thought he was reaching for something. Okay, so you're allowed to use force if you feel you're threatened or the life of someone else is in danger. You're allowed to use force then to protect yourself or that person. But obviously, once he's on the ground, is he going to be a threat anymore? And I get the idea, sure, you're going to keep your shooting to stop the threat, but let's be real. Especially that last little bit right there. You don't just get to run up the score. You have to justify force every time you do something. So even though they killed him, can they kill him with excessive force? Yes. That is a Fourth Amendment violation. Even though he's dead and would have probably been dead already, you don't know which one of those bullets actually killed him. Was it one of the first one or two, or was it probably the last two? You don't know, and that's the problem when you use excessive force. It's hard to tell what was proper. So, yeah, do I think they've probably got a good suit there? Sure. It's going to be a great 1983 case under the, federal court. His civil rights were certainly violated. Now, is that going to result in these guys getting charged, criminally? No, they probably won't. I mean, being stupid or being a bit of a pussy and overkilling someone isn't going to result in getting isn't going to be an issue there. Yes, Sean, they did shoot him for a while as he was down. So yeah, that's gonna be a rough time. That one, especially now, I think there's enough time to come out. I thought it was actually good to talk about it. Yeah, totally excessive. It was completely unnecessary. And think about that. They'll do that to a guy, but they won't go chase down some dude in Valdi, and they'll just sit in the hallway. Okay, that's kind of funny. You don't know he's dead. I mean, are you a doctor? I mean, that's the thing. You don't know that he's dead. I mean, which one of those bullets? I mean, people have survived all kinds of serious trauma. People have skydived and their parachutes have not opened, and they've survived. People in wars have been, like, blown up, stabbed, shot, and, much worse, lit on fire, and have survived. So, the human body can sustain a lot of damage. So, like, getting shot right at the end, whatever officer that was, I actually think he should face some penalties for that, especially. I mean, that was completely unnecessary. The mask is because of COVID. Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's a cloth mask and all that, but if you're going to run around wearing a ski mask like that or a balaclava, especially and it's not wintertime, you really need to rethink what you're doing because that's going to get interpreted a lot of bad ways. So, and somebody asked before, how do you know what they're shooting at behind them? They really don't. Those bullets just zipped off into the ether. Thankfully, nobody got hurt. But I don't think those cops really knew what was behind their backdrop when they started shooting. They just made sure they weren't shooting at each other. So, yeah, 30 bullets zipping off into the night. I haven't heard any stories about it. So, knock on wood, like, nobody got injured. It does. That is a case out of Cleveland, yes. Except that one was bad because there was a shooting, they shot a car up, and then a guy actually reloaded and kept shooting after everybody had stopped. So, with that said, yeah. Oh, there weren't 2 mag dumps. There were a ton of them there. And if you think about it, any handgun they're going to use holds about 15 rounds. So 6 officers unloading will get you to 90 right away. So, and I think there were even more who shot. So it wasn't even 6 of them just emptying their firearms, but it was a good number of them shooting at once. So, sure, it could be a fad. I'm just saying, I don't care if you're door dashing or whatever you're doing, but you come to my house with that on. That's going to make me a little nervous. I think it'd make most people nervous. Yes, anchor shots are bad no matter who's doing them. Are you in timeout? I don't think you are. So yeah, that's a bad one. There's another one though. Let me see here. Since we already kind of killed monetization so far, we may as well finish it up. This is a similar thing, and this actually happened in West Virginia. The amount of bullets isn't a problem per se, but it's when it's a bunch and it keeps going. Now, do I think every single guy needs to shoot? No, I think there should be some people like focused on, okay, it's 1 versus 4. He's not gonna, matrix the other 4 guys. I mean, that's where I think there's a bit of an issue there. But yeah, I understand they're all chasing, so they're all part of the mayhem and craziness. But this is a similar issue that happened actually, I think last week or the week before in West Virginia. This one's not much better. So this is a guy, he's being chased by the police. His is a little different though. You notice he's got a gun.
Oh my God.
And he's going crazy with it. So they keep chasing him. Obviously, he isn't pointed at them.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay. That guy right there, yeah, he's off to the angled side. What's behind him when he shoots? I'm assuming the other car's behind this person. So, something to think about.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's hard to tell what happens. They claim he did raise his gun up to them. What's a good one here? So I'll bring that up. Yeah, but there wasn't probably anywhere for anybody to go. I'm not sure you want to start, jumping off the brakes and, getting your car out of the way, because those cops are going to say, oh my God, this person was trying to run me over. That's just a really bad spot to be in. I mean, if you want to get out of the way, you may have to bail out of your car and run, but that's driving near those cops, you probably will get shot. So there's not really a good place to go. So, yeah, they claim he raised the firearm. And sure, if he's raising it, they probably do have a valid excuse and a valid defense to use force. But once again, just like everybody else, you have to be proportional in your force and reasonable in your force. Your force can't be excessive. Okay, so right there, he's dropped. And if you want to keep, if you want to be in charge of dealing force like that, you have to pay attention to what's going on. Well, he dropped his gun. And those guys keep going. Well, once again, can't use excessive force there. They shall play rock, paper, scissors and decide who shoots and who just stands there. I don't know. They should come up with something. I mean, I think you run into issues of, where did all those shots go? Because those were on concrete, just like Jalen Walker's were. Like, where are all those shots going? I mean, because those are, especially those rifle rounds, are going right through that dude. Skipping along off, where do they end up? I mean, if we have to worry about where our shots land, they need to also. So, Gabby, you asked, there's a video of a day. Long Crime posted it. Oh, no. No, but I will take a look and see what Long Crime did. So do I think this guy's family has a case for excessive force? Yeah, I definitely think they do. I think it's a pretty good case for excessive force. What do I think happens from there? Do I think anybody's going to be accused? Oh, I will say the Long Crime does have the police body cam where they questioned Sarah Boone. So that is a good thing, actually, from them. I'm not sure, Gabby, where you're talking about, 'cause I don't see, Oh. I think you're talking about this one. Let's see, is this the one you're talking about? Let me know if that's the one you're talking about, because we're also going to, there, fuck you, Long Crime. Covering you up in my face. Copy strike that. Let's see here. Big chunk of snow. Actually, he got hit like 60 out of 90. Remember, a bunch of those came in as he's laying on the ground, so they lit him up. No, and I don't think they're officially going to be charged with anything because they, their force, they had the right to use force. I mean, their argument is going to be, we thought he was making a furtive movement and they had already been shot at. He hops out of the car wearing a ski mask and won't stop. I mean, they're, I don't think you get any grand jury to indict him, so what do you indict him for? Now, they could be sued for excessive force in federal court, and I think that's actually going to be a winnable case, but I don't think anything is going to happen to him here. If somebody does, I'd be very surprised, unless they lied or made a false statement. So, yeah, where do they all go? So I think, Gabby, this is the one you're talking about. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a little rough heads up right there.
Toward downtown. I'm sorry, away from downtown. 46. Take it a left. Shots fired.
So,
look like a black handgun.
Florida man's getting chased.
Copy, shots fired.
Oof. Wow, he plowed right into that building. Hey, that's the other guy. Cutting him off.
Please say a command.
Shots fired.
Oh, jeez, that's getting close to your buddy.
Shots fired. Stand by. 10-4. What's your call fired? Shots fired.
Try saying the device name like phone or USB. Main menu. Say command.
Crash is fine. He's out on the ground. Hands on his head. Hold it.
Yeah, okay. Imagine you're this guy right here driving along, and all of a sudden the police start shooting around you. That's got to be a little interesting. Oh, that's a cop. Never mind. Now he reloads. Now he's reloading for a second time. It's his third magazine. It sounds like they kept taking fire though. If they kept taking fire, they have every right to keep using force until it stops. Ooh, look at that. That's right in your that's a surprise right in your eyes right there. Looks like the guy's still going. Looks like he gets the door open and gets out.
Signal 4!
Oh, dude keeps going. Jeez. Dude, magazine issues, immediately goes to the second mag. Yeah. Wow. Well, if they can articulate he kept on shooting and they felt like that was going on. Yeah, dude pointing a gun plain as day, but remember, if he's done and they keep shooting, I mean, at some point they have to stop. So, we do have some questions, though. Yeah, Barney. Yeah, they played too much GTA. Yeah, well, we all have, I think, at some point. That's true. Just because you're on the ground does not mean you are not a violent threat. But you can't just keep going. At some point, remember, I've mentioned this before, Ultra Death, that idea of self-defense, it's a window. Every time you pull that trigger, that window for self-defense has to be open. You have to have all the elements there. They don't stick around forever. Self-defense can come and go, kind of like the tide. Is the tide in? Okay, great. Then launch your boat. Is the tide out? Well, then you can't do it. The tide can come in and out very quickly in a self-defense situation. Or it's like the windmill at a putt-putt course. Every time, once in a while, the windmill blocks, and then you're available, and then you're blocked. And then it's available, and then you're blocked. You have to be mindful of that. It doesn't stick around. I'm not allowed to mag dump relentlessly in self-defense. If the situation warrants it, you could. You just have to be mindful of the force you're using. 1 second too long and now they're guilty. I'm not saying they're guilty. I'm saying that they're using excessive force. If the guy's on the ground and he's clearly not moving, you keep shooting at him, you're using excessive force. You're violating his rights. You're using force, which is a seizure, under the Fourth Amendment. So that's... So... Yeah, and yes, that's true. If somebody is a threat, yes, they can hurt you, but that doesn't mean you just get to anchor shot the fuck out of the guy. I mean, otherwise, why don't we just shoot everybody 100 times, extra just to make sure? Well, no, you have to justify the force. And yes, sometimes the guy may not be dead. He may still be fighting. He may be playing possum. That's the risk. You have to balance the risk here. Whose rights, our rights to not be subjected to excessive force are pretty important. So if if he's not presenting a threat and you're walking up to him, you can't use force. Well, he might stab me. Okay, well, he might not. And then once he does use force back. I don't know. It goes differently in federal court. And remember, it's a civil trial, so they'll be found liable. It's not guilty or not guilty. It's just liable. Kale Burke says, what does an anchor shot mean? When somebody's on the ground, you shoot them to keep them there. You anchor them to the ground. Generally speaking, if you shoot somebody and they fall down and then you walk up to them and shoot them, the idea is you're keeping them there. It's generally frowned upon. So there's some questions here. Have you ever had a client throw you under the bus? Yes. They say like, oh, I don't think he did a good job, or I don't think this happened right. I don't think he fought hard enough for me. I've had it happen. People aren't happy if things go bad at a sentencing or they go bad at a trial. Yeah, that happens. Happens all the time. Not all the time, but it happens. C'est la vie. I do what I can. So I've never, I always just brush it off. I do everything I can for people. They may not be happy with the outcome, but that's, I probably explained to them that's what the outcome is. And they probably just don't like to hear it. And of course, who likes to hear bad news? Have you ever had a client kill the defense effort in court? Yeah, when they've testified and I've recommended that they don't and they kind of kill things, yes. Because now they've made my job of going up on a closing argument, pointing out the gaps in the story. Well, now this guy filled it in and it's bad. So, yeah, it happens. It happens. It's usually when they testify is when they do that. That's pretty much the one way you could definitely kill your effort. Oh, Twisted Sister's here. Good. 'Cause, 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 'c Yeah, some people do, and that doesn't deny what happened here. I just think, you have to be... all the time. Yeah, it's a Freudian slip. No. No, I haven't had to throw a client under the bus. No, not at all. I mean, there will be times where, for example, I had a guy where he claimed I told him the trial was such and such date at such and such time. He didn't show up for the right time, and then he got arrested on a warrant, and he had to sit for a while. And then when he was in front of the judge, he claimed I told him this, that, and the other. And the judge looked at me and he said, well, did you tell him the incorrect time? And that's when I had to say, no, I told him boom, boom, boom. I sent him a letter. I shot him a text, and the text included the date and time. And I shot him, a text the week before. And then I shot him a text a couple days, the day before. So, not really throwing him under the bus, but no, I mean, at some point you do have to defend yourself if people are claiming you're not doing your job. I'm pretty sure that's unethical. You got to give everyone a fair... I do give everybody fair defense. But if you're going to try to, claim I did something wrong or did something unethical, I have the right to defend myself against that. Hypothetical, if I call you from jail because I was arrested, when will I see you in person? It depends. Some jails I can see you pretty much whenever. Some jails there's scheduled times. What if I can, I will see you, probably that morning. If it's really an emergency, as long as I have anything scheduled, I could try to see you that morning. If not, I'll see you at least within 24 hours. Usually there's a lot of jails you can visit, especially as an attorney, at any time, usually, through first and second shift, for most jails. Some jails will let you do it whenever. But I can make that work. I'll show up a little later if I have to after the day is done. But yeah, I mean, within 24 hours at the latest. He tried to throw you under a bus. Yeah, but I'm a little fat, so I don't fit under the bus that well. If you ever declined the fuck, Jesus. Thank you, Kiwi. Thank you very much. Just what I need. Yes. Interesting question, good sir. Never been asked before. Asking for a friend, can you go with your client to police questioning? Yes, you have the right to have an attorney present for any questioning. So yes, if the police are going to question you, and you call me and say, hey, the cops are going to, you hire me. You say, hey, the cops want to talk to me. I'm probably going to call the cop and say, what do you want to know? They say, we just want to talk. I'll say, sorry, we're not talking, and hang up. So generally speaking, you won't be talking to the cops, but that's the way how that would work until they tell us what they want. And then I talk to you and find out, okay, the cops are asking about A, B, and C. What do you know about that? What happened? Tell me. And then we figure out what we tell them. Matt said, I had a lawyer state they had all my defense evidence, and they did not, and I could have got it, and the judge reversed his verdict as soon as I left the courtroom. I'm a little confused. Are you saying the judge reversed your verdict from guilty to not guilty? I'm a little confused by that one. Yes. Have I ever had... Well, actually, I'm surprised you guys didn't ask, have I ever had a client throw a bus at me? Have you ever thrown a bus under your client? Actually, wouldn't I be throwing my client over the bus instead of throwing the bus under my client? That seems like a lot of work, because then I got to throw it underground. Why don't I just throw him over the bus? Have you ever had a client call me while stealing a bus? No, not yet. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. We'll hope. Yeah, I mean, it's. Like a federal firearms disability case, or are you talking about you had a hearing for a disability? I'm not trying to pick at you, Matt. I was just curious. Any fights ever break out in a courtroom? Not in front of me. Well, not in front of me, but I've heard of times where it's happened. Or, you come in for, you come in from court and you find out like something happened in the morning before you got there. I haven't been that lucky where I get to see something happen. Have you had a client that had to keep a bus going over 50? No. And he's not the best at pop quizzes either. This is quality trolling. Yes, quality for a Thursday night on YouTube with 43 people watching. Any fights break out behind you? I mean, not right now. Furby Slayer for $5. Thank you very much. What was your worst horror case and the weakest lame case? I think the lamest case I had was I had to defend a guy who got a DUI on a bicycle, a felony DUI. I thought that was pretty lame. This is way out in the boonies. The guy was driving down an unmarked, like, one-lane country road. It was the middle of the, it was like 11 o'clock in the summer. You could clearly see what was going on. Yeah, he was, like, weaving a little bit, but if you're riding a bike on a road, you're not, like, driving in a straight line anyway. Every once in a while, you'll move. Well, they stopped him for a DUI. The people at the liquor store called the police and said, yeah, he came in, bought a bunch of beer, and slammed a couple down on the parking lot and took off on his bike. And yeah, they charged him for it, and they charged him as a felony because, it's so dangerous on a bicycle. You hear those stories about the kids from prom getting killed by the drunk guy on a bike. Yeah. So yes, he was looking up to, 30 months in prison on that. We took it to trial. I don't blame my guy for doing that because, just given how his life had turned out, made sense. We went all the way with it, and the jury was out for about 3 hours, and then by about 6 o'clock they came back in, and they convicted him. Yeah, that was probably the lamest one I've ever done. I thought that was so weak sauce, but hey, the people of that county, they voted for a prosecutor who said he would do that. Okay, thank you. Throw a like people are throwing buses. Yeah, I'm actually gonna be. Well, as a prosecutor, I was involved in a couple, like helping out my boss do it. But defense attorney, I'm actually getting involved in one coming up. I was talking to another attorney in the area. He does quite a few, and working with him on it, it'll be kind of interesting. So yeah, it'll be kind of it's a big one. So a lot to it. So I think that'll make it very interesting. It'll be very challenging, but it's definitely a winnable case from what he told me. So that's good news. Yes, I do like Gladiator movies, Uncle Papa. No, there really aren't any rules. You're just allowed to use force to stop a threat. And the problem is when there's like a million cops around and they all shoot, even if it's like 1,000, if there's like 15 police officers chasing all at once and they all pull their guns out, and let's say they all shoot twice, well, that means you get shot 30 times. So that's the part that sucks. Damn late, happy 10K. Well, thanks for showing up. Never late. Let's see here. Serious question. Have you ever had or know of a client who wanted to change a plea deal while the jurors are deliberating? Not usually at that point. I haven't had anybody ask me if they want to plea out because you're already there. It's already done. But I have had clients in the middle of trial when, especially if like the victim's up there talking and, that the victim's up there crying and it's like, that's the guy, he did this, he broke into my house and, boo, woo, 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 and he beat me up. And they're crying and bawling their eyes out and the jury's just staring daggers at your guy. Yeah, those are times where, people ask for, can we get a plea offer? Or, it just happens if they realize the case isn't going the way they wanted. Once there's kind of a lull, you kind of lean over to the prosecutor and say, what kind of deal can we do? Can we stop? And usually they're willing to try to do that, especially if it saves the victim from further trauma. So, we might stop and say, Your Honor, we, would like a recess. The court, judge kicks the jury out and he says, what's up? Like, we might have a plea offer. He'll give you a couple minutes to work it out and tell your guy, take it or leave it, and hit the road. It's illegal to ride a bicycle drunk here in the UK. Yeah, in Ohio, I'm pretty sure the only things you can legally wield operated vehicles you can ride drunk are a unicycle, a wheelbarrow, or some roller skates. I think those are the only things that you could get away with. I'm not sure how you could operate a wheelbarrow, but hey, more power to you. Sweet Tooth Fairy, how do you handle the case when you think the defendant is guilty? No different. I mean, it doesn't matter. I do the same thing regardless. Emo, I currently have a DBA and a slight midlife crisis. Do you recommend law school if somebody has a PhD in another area? Yeah, a lot of people, there are, especially at night, on the school I went to in Toledo, there were like one of the guys who's my friend, through law school. He was the IT guy for one of the community colleges in the area. And he'd been doing it forever. He'd been doing it for a while and was like, yeah, I think he thinks it'd be fun. Now he also did some other stuff in his life where he ended up being able to pay his tuition checks in cash. Like, paying with it, writing a check to pay for his tuition every semester. So, yeah, if you can afford it and it'll help your career, certainly I don't think that's a bad idea. Depending on what your PhD is in. Especially, can you apply that in a legal sense? Could you become an expert witness? Or if you're doing okay for yourself, is it just something you want to push yourself and gain education for the sake of just education and opening your mind? Then, yeah, that's fine too. I just don't know if I recommend going into all the debt over it. AD for $2. Thank you for your super chat. Appreciate it. What was your most satisfying cross exam? My most satisfying one ever was I did it was for a restraining order hearing, and I was hired by somebody, and the guy with the seeking the restraining order was the handyman for the landlord. And this landlord was kind of like a slumlord, and he used these guys to go out and get the restraining orders as a way to kind of forcibly evict people as well. Because he, traded these guys, the handymen would live on the property. They got rent, and the rent was paid for because they did all the work. So it was their way of kind of forcing an eviction. And this guy came in, he had all his own exhibits, and he had all his own stuff. And it was the most satisfying thing ever because he tried to introduce Facebook posts and Facebook profiles of things allegedly my client had said, and I knew for a fact my client had said them because she told me. And they were 100% her words, and they were completely damaging, and had he had an attorney there who laid foundation properly, those could have been admitted and my client would be in serious trouble. But he didn't, and it was so much fun. Because I just objected. There's, Your Honor, no foundation has been laid for any of this evidence. I just said I'll be stricken from the record. And the judge agreed that it was stricken and it was not going to be admitted. When he got up on cross, when it was my turn for cross, I walked up with a whole stack of his stuff. And like an idiot, yes, that's me. Yes, that's my picture. Yes, that's my name. Yeah, I do it to, be funny. It's my nickname. And I'd say, yes, I did say all these threatening, vile, nasty things. Yes, I did say all these threatening, nasty, vile things. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. And I could tell the guy was just so mad. He was staring at me, and by the end of it, he was just shaking. He was so pissed off, knowing that I basically did what he couldn't do. And it made him so damn mad. I thought he was going to jump up. We ended up getting a restraining order against him, which was hilarious. My client was already getting evicted, though, so it was kind of a big mess. But that was probably the most promising one because this guy was a complete scumbag. And, even though my client got evicted, she would, she could go anywhere in town and, she would run into him because he was, kind of a drunk and would go everywhere. Got ran out of a lot of places because he can't be there while she's there. Yeah, that was probably the most promising one because I also thought the guy was going to try to fight me. That was kind of cool. I thought it was going to be interesting. Let's see here. On a unicycle, does it count if your one tire of your bicycle is flat? I mean, that's a good argument to make, but I don't think a court's going to buy that. It's a clever one, though. If you're a witness, lose a judge, lose their shit during trial. No, I've seen judges get mad with people, but they have the right to get mad and hold people in contempt. But no, I've never seen a judge just lose their mind on the bench or, start screaming and hollering at people. No, I've not seen that. Yeah, if good roofers like to drink. So, yes, that's always a good sign. So Furby Slayer, with public intoxication laws, can't they technically bust you for walking while drunk? Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. If you're walking along and you're not causing any issues, it's going to look really bad when they show up to court. Why did you arrest this guy? With the, public intoxication, usually it's somebody who's stumbling all over the place, or, they just walking along and take a nosedive and they don't get back up and they're kind of passed out on the sidewalk. That's usually when people get the public intoxications. Or if you're giving the cops a hard time, yeah, they might be dicks and give you, a ticket like that just to be assholes, but it's generally meant for people who are kind of passed out in the street like a dreg. Yeah, 38, yeah. It's never too late to do what you want, and I agree. But if you're just going to go into debt for it and you just want to do it because it'd be neat, I don't recommend that. Um, have you ever had a witness ruin your case by saying one thing when you interview them and then change to a completely different story when you put them on the stand? Yes. Happens a lot. Happens a lot. The trial I had in May. The victim, one of the victims, like, oh my gosh, I'm pulling for you guy. I don't want anything bad to happen. And then about a week before, I don't know what happened. She basically goes radio silent, and then she gets up on stand and just burns my guy down. Now I can't quiz her over what she said to me because that becomes hearsay. But yeah, it happens, and it's frustrating. Sometimes it's induced by your client. Sometimes it's just people have a change of heart. Yeah, you just never know. Yep. Although I may induce one just so you guys have to shut up. AD for $2. Thank you again. I really appreciate your super chat. Ever see an attorney pull a injustice for all? You mean like in their closing or while they're giving a statement to the court? No, but I've heard some times where I've heard some closing arguments where, in the background you just want to start hearing like and sometimes it's like, wow, this is pretty good. You're like, I'm kind of liking this. I'm kind of digging it. Then there's other times where the defense attorney's laying it out there and he's doing a good job. You're like, that's kind of corny. You're like, I've used that one too. It's like, it sounds just like mine. And to be fair, we kind of rip each other off. Building upon a bicycle. What if instead of flat, you're missing the front wheel? Is it a unicycle? It's operating like a unicycle, possibly, but if I take and put one wheel on a car, does that make it a unicycle? It's just a car with one wheel. It's just a bike with one wheel. I don't think it counts. I do appreciate it, though. That's very good. Yeah, nursing's not a bad way to go, too. Yep, very true. Very, very true. How often do you have witnesses afraid to testify? Not usually. It's not that they're afraid. It's just they don't like going to court and they don't like being in front of people. And it's not like they're afraid of something happening to them. That does happen, but I don't care. I call them anyway if I think they're important. So, remember, I only care about my client. If I make you testify and something bad happens to you, that's a you problem. Were you lying to me or lying now is not a valid line of questioning when they switch up the story. The problem is, if I'm referring to when they talk to me, well, the only way I can rebut that is if I were to give testimony. So that makes me then become a witness, which I can't do if I'm representing somebody. So you don't do that. You can work on, and just think about it if you're sitting there. There are ways you can try to confuse them or catch them up. It's like, have you ever said, I'd say like, Mr. Fraud, have you ever said X, Y, and Z? Now, you might lie, if you want to lie and say, no, I haven't. Well, sure. But now I brought that question up to the jury. And the jury's going to say, well, he asked it, so he must know the answer. And the answer is yes. And look at this guy lying now. So there are ways you can bring up questions. You just have to be, got to be a little careful about it, how you organize them. Is it legally safer to use a handgun and an AR in home defense? I don't think anymore it's that big a deal. So use either or. Now, I will say, don't use your pistol if it's covered in Punisher skulls, and don't use your AR-15 if it's covered in Punisher skulls. Take all that crap off. make it look as just normal. It's working gun. It's what it's used for. That looks normal. If yours is like, got Hello Kitty all over it. I mean, if it looks like, so if you want, don't do this because it makes you look like a lunatic. So don't do that. There are better things you can do. So, Al Pacino in his opening for Injustice for All, $2 again. Thank you, AD. I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I haven't seen that. I have not seen that personally. Ever happen like that? So when has a client ever shown up drunk or hungover to court? There's times where I've suspected it, but I can't prove it. If I thought a client was having issues, I wouldn't let them come in. If I check on them. So, never completely drunk like that. I've dealt with times where I think people, definitely smelled like marijuana smoke, but they seem to be with it. So, you gotta work with what you got. Wheelbarrow has one wheel. Is it a unicycle? Well, no, because you can't really pedal it. What if you had someone else with you in the interview? I'm not really sure who you're talking to there, Patricia. You mean in the police interview, or I'm just confused. Now just don't work for Vanderbilt if you become a nurse. Or if you do work for Vanderbilt and you're a nurse, make sure you follow the rules. Have I ever really disliked a client I was defending? No. I've had times where I've dealt with clients where every time they call, I'm like, oh, great, this is going to suck, or, oh, help me now, God. But no, nobody I've ever disliked or disapproved of as a human being. It's just, just like in real life, some people are clingy and needy and need, to hear from you all the time, and they just drive you up the walls when they do it. What about an American flag decal? I decided not to purchase a good deal on a Glock upper because it might carry it once in a while. I didn't want to have to explain the stars and stripes if I had to. Well, it all depends on how big it is, and is it really just an American flag, or is it an American flag getting held by a guy riding the horse who looks like death, and he's wearing his General Lee hat while he's doing it, and there's all kinds of goofy stuff going on, and it it can make you look like a weirdo if it's not done right. Yeah, I will. I don't have any insight right this second, other than I know we talked about it. Assholes collided. Everybody should have gone home that day and really thought about what they were doing, but instead they wanted to fight. So they definitely got more than they bargained for. Okay. So, is it a problem with Hillary My air mag is Hillary Clinton behind bars. I mean, just think about it. It's not like the end of the world, but yeah, I would keep it not spicy. That'd be my biggest recommendation for you. Hold on, what? Is it my shoulder of my shirt sleeve? Yeah, that was from moving a couch. Could you show up to court drunk? I don't recommend it because that just wouldn't go well. And it'd be great if you got caught, you'd definitely be held in contempt. Mark, we already asked that one. What if I throw the bicycle under the bus? Did you pass the bar exam the first time? Yes, I did. And I don't ever want to have to take it again. Once was enough. Oh, yes. So she meant if that person was going to change their story, having somebody else there. Yeah, that's a way to get around that. Or, in situations where if I'm, I knew that it's going to happen in advance, I'll try to use an investigator or somebody like that who I can throw up on the stand, as my own personal, as like the defense detective. Have you ever had a client who's a victim of mistaken identity? Yes. Generally, my days when I was with the public defender's office in Toledo, it would happen where if you have a brother or sister who's close in age to you and looks like you enough, they'll find your birth date information, driver's license number, social security number, all of that. So when they get stopped, now they're writing tickets for you and your name. So now you show up answering a bunch of tickets. I've had to help those people show, when she got about 5 tickets, there were 3 of them where it's clearly proven she was working at those times, so it definitely wasn't her. And then the other ones just took some kind of trickery to get the guy to admit that, yeah, he did it, and not my client. What if you have truck nuts as the front grip on your AR? I mean, you need to think about it like the people on your jury are not like the people that are in this thread or people on this live stream or any other thing you might find on the internet. It's Susie Soccer Mom, so yeah. Do you really want that in her face and her being all awkward about it? Something to think about. If you don't check your shoulder, it's going to fall in your drink, buddy. Don't make me think that. Now I'm thinking there's a spider or something. I mean, that's going to freak me out. So please don't do that. Yes, that sounds exactly good. Yes, that sounds like the perfect idea. No, that would be awful. That would be awful to have on it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, why wouldn't I just throw the bike over the bus? That accomplishes the same thing with less effort. And then also I don't have to put a hole in the ground. If I throw the bus under the bike and there's a big bus-shaped hole, now I got to worry about filling the hole, right? Especially if it's someone else's land, you can't just trash it. Yeah, I think that is a problem because that can show that she had a duty to, rescue him. But I'm curious to see what her defense is going to be. I think they probably have something decent, so at least I hope they do. Oh dear. Billiam, still moving around. Do not tell me that. Jeez. Spiders are awful. What about a homemade firearm? I mean, what about them? If you're allowed to make them, make them, but then also, free men don't ask for permission. I'm just saying. Actually, I don't know if YouTube's going to let me show this, but we'll see. If you're ever interested in a something out there, this is always something you can do if you go to Home Depot and bide your time wisely. You know, build yourself basically kind of like an Uzi from parts at Home Depot. So something to think about. Hopefully YouTube didn't kill me for that. You know, what about if you use them, that's fine. Just make sure, you don't have on it like the Soul Harvester or something creepy like that. You should be fine. It's not a hate crime, but their body needs to be purified before they're buried. Your suppressor uses wipes that are made out of bacon. I mean, it's not like you can eat that bacon. That bacon's full of cancer now, so I guess if you want to use it, be my guest. Yes. He did a lot more than just tapes and pipes to a 2x4, because the idea of getting primers in the ignition system is not readily available in Japan, and this guy had to rig up an electrical ignition for it. That's why it looks like there's a battery and some wires from the front end of it, which, give him credit for, it looks impressive. But, just make some fulminated mercury. You probably would have saved yourself some time. Can you do that? Yes. I mean, if they're already in your home and you're swinging an axe, you're probably already close enough. Enjoying the stream? I'm glad you are. Ooh. I'm sorry, excuse me, guys. Getting a little tired here. Yeah, suffocating suitcase in death would be a horrible way to go. No, you can eat bacon. The guy mentioned using a suppressor with the sound deadening parts made out of bacon, meaning when that gun gets fired, all the crusty things from the bullet and the burnt gunpowder, all that's going to be all over the bacon, so it's all going to be nasty and full of cancer. Was that firearm made of steel, folded a million times? Makes me wonder. No, it was not made a million times. And I guess, if you guys weren't aware, Shinzo Abe, the former Prime Minister of Japan, pretty good dude trying to steer Japan in a certain direction, was assassinated by a guy, and the guy used a homemade gun in Japan. And it's interesting because in Japan, getting a gun is really freaking hard. Like, really hard. In fact, this guy kind of made one of the cheaper ways to do a gun, which is just pipes capped off full of black powder or fireworks, and boom, some rocks or other stuff out of it. In America, you might be able to get away with using primers because there's so many of them, but here he doesn't have access to primers, so what did he do? He made a battery hookup and, got the batteries going, and boom, boom. Batteries are getting better and better with capacity, and we're getting better and better about managing it, so. Yeah, it's very interesting, but I'll give him marks. That's an impressive setup he's got. This chat is wonderful, not unlike the Popes, but still embedded. Thank you, SF Peaks. I appreciate it. XL Right for $10, or XL Right for $20. Where is he? Where's your... I thought I just saw it. Where'd it go? Okay, there you go. Congrats on 10K subs. Yeah, Excelio also has the IRL name Sean. Oh, I didn't know that. Cool. Well, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Join this channel, get access to membership perks. Okay, yeah, so members, I'm going to send out a thing to you guys, figuring out, like, what do you guys want to do on a couple of these things. Presented without comment. Yeah, thank you again, Daniel. Yes, congrats from the land of Van Wert with the turbines. Do I teach? No, I am not a teacher. No, I don't teach law. I'm not a law professor. I don't teach it for high schoolers or college students. I just no, just on here schooling all you guys. No, but I'm not a teacher. Stuffed in a suitcase full of spiders. Jeez. Now you've got me like all claustrophobic with a bunch of spiders. That's not fair. I just don't think you're getting me in there, so you're gonna have a tough time. Yeah, that's true. He did not make that mandatory. You have to be careful because after a while, a minigun is basically an electrically operated Gatling gun. So you'd have to be very careful about that. Especially if the machine can go fast, because after a while, especially because it's been seen by guys who crank it, by the end, if you crank it real hard, it just like bzzz, out the front. Okay, what if I invite someone over my house and they just happen to end up dead and end up burying under my house? Would me being an amateur clown help my case? I mean, yeah, because you might be able to distract them with your laughs. I think we're doing John Wayne Gacy here. I'm not sure, though, what the callback is. He probably did test fire just like with little minuscule amounts of powder to make sure everything worked. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that when I was on with Johnny. I forgot that's, I forgot. But yeah, you're right. Why would someone choose to be a public defender? Well, there are a lot of people who do it for, there's some advantages to it. Unlike, a defense attorney, like a private attorney, all you're doing is criminal stuff, which is nice. You don't have to worry about a paycheck. You don't have to go hunt down your next kill. You get paid, you get paid a salary, which is nice. A lot of times there is retirement benefits involved. There's also loan forgiveness because you're doing public service. But for most people who do public defender, I mean, really the true, like the good ones, the big ones, and even when I was in Toledo, it was about doing what you could to help people. All these people need help, and, what can you do to make it better? Because certainly a lot of them did need help, and a lot of them were kind of being pushed around, so you should be helping them. And I think that's, the motivation for most of the people who do it across America is to help protect rights and to protect the downtrodden. So, yeah, it takes a special call, and it takes a special person to want to do that. Okay, we're not talking about the Jordan B. Peterson quote. I'm not talking about spiders. We are not talking about spiders right now. Let's see here. Aren't public defenders overworked? Some are, but that's like a stereotype. It's an old cliche, actually. I said, though, public defenders are going to be some of the strongest and most adamant defense attorneys you'll find. Because they generally are willing to work long hours for crappy pay because they care about people that much. So, every once in a while, maybe, but yeah. I'd say overall, they get it done. Yes, not all public defenders are strictly public defenders. There are part-time gigs out there, but I think they're probably asking for people who do it full-time. Yeah, there was all kinds of stuff out there with electric solenoids. Yeah, if you have an electronically fired firearm, there's a good chance the ATF may call it a machine gun. Which, there have been exceptions to that. I think Remington, they did an electrically fired rifle a couple years ago. Actually, 10 years ago now. But generally speaking, if you do something electric, just be careful. You might need ATF approval. Are woodchucks just groundhogs? Where I live, yes. Same thing. Did you watch the movie Arachnophobia? No. Nope. And you can't pay me to watch that movie. Nope. Down with the ATF, down with the NFA. Yes. And trying to make contact with Matt LaRosiere, the guy who's in charge of the auto key case, one of the attorneys on it, and they just made a pretty big motion involving, New York State pistol and rifle versus Bruin. So I'm trying to get in contact with him, see if he come on and we can talk about it a little bit, because yes, he might be the man who kills the NFA, which would be pretty cool. Oh, let's see here. Guns are in fact pretty simple machines. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Now I'm just picturing my head in the old Nintendo Power Glove with a barrel on it. That's funny. Let's see here. Where is... What the heck? Sorry, looking for something here. Yeah, screw it, whatever. Snakes on a plane sounds spiders in the living lamp. Jeez, now I gotta look at the lamp. Yeah, Nero, you're talking about the guy who was printing out the lightning links on the piece of metal. Yeah, that's the same case where they bring up, hey, under Bruin, the NFA has to get overturned or modified so you can do machine guns now. You can't charge them with a crime anymore. We'll see how that goes. Yes, that happens to me, or I've found a spider on me and I turn into a great kickboxer. Yeah, that is something I never thought I'd see be a reality. It'd be really cool to see that. It'd be very, very cool to see that. All right, Matthew. Yeah, it's about time for me to wrap up too, guys. I thought I said an hour, but it's an hour and a half already, so I'm probably going to close up in a minute or two. Yeah, that's premeditated murder. So, Matt, thank you again for coming out. Yeah, yeah, there probably will be more and more about it as things go on and people figuring it out. Hayden is stream sniping Joe. If you stream snipe Hayden, yeah, you know what? Fine, we'll stream snipe Hayden. Why not? Real quick, at least for a minute. Okay, well, there's apparently Madcore, so he's doing all just be.
And you don't.
We'll do some third or fourth level.
That's the problem. Is they need their grip
sailing the ocean on a
because they need to get funding. It's sort of like the people
pirate
in COVID
hat.
to last forever. I'm going to say it because there's.
Mate, this code. I mean, well, I can't really say that word in Australia.
They don't
So how about that?
There's an invested interest.
That
She's part of an
C
organization
thing.
that will get more funding if Me Too is around. If Me Too goes
Looks like
away,
Australia's. They're trying to start it up
I'm
again.
sure they're getting public funding. I guarantee you they're getting public funding.
You know, we're going
Get
to
sniped.
soon be hearing about other
You're very welcome. Yeah, thank you again, Sean. I appreciate it.
I got it. I'm turning down the volume here.
Yeah, but we'll deal with that when it
I have to
happens.
shut down the volume of this sniping stream because
Gotta worry about it next
I can't have
week.
these things set on my channel. I can't have this set on my channel.
He's worried about it. Tony's channel.
She wrote an op-ed about her.
That's even okay. Yeah, that's correct. Then yeah, geez, that's even worse. I thought he was the guy making the key
Oh,
cards.
look at that! Put a fucking note. Suck it, bitch. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I did see that.
So
Yes, that is
You know,
interesting.
this is
That's
what
kinda
the real
interesting to see
salt
happens
comes in.
there.
They do not like to have apologies. They do not like to have a statement. And by the way,
how
they're
many
going in
levels
such
are
a
we?
block in such a chunky
Well,
way that it's
Joe
not,
and
it's not the way they would normally
Andrew
write
are
articles,
talking,
so they just kind of drop it
and
in there,
Nate.
hoping you'll
That's
ignore
one
it.
level.
It's kind
Hayden's
of
watching
block
them. That's
here.
two.
Like the jury found,
Madcore,
they're
and then
stating that it's fact.
Kiwi
Right.
is 3. Now I'm the 4th.
That mean to someone else?
Just
who
they
may
thought
wanna
wanted
talk
me to do
about
it's
this?
there. That's like a bunch of
can't
that's a
lie
bunch of
about it.
sniping on top of
It's
sniping.
tough. We could do it.
Yeah, we're tough.
Never
What was that? Yeah, I actually clicked out of the wrong thing here. Sorry. So that's not a boomer mute. That's just clicking on the wrong thing. Selena Lamalu for $4.49 in pound. Thank you. Thank you very much for your super chat. Legal Mindset gets really excited. Yeah. What was that? What happened? Clicked on it. Tried to exit out the wrong tab. Yeah, well, that was abrupt. Yeah, that's it. Hey, guys, it's time. I'm done. Bye. Yes, I did the wrong button there. No, that's not a mute. So, anyways, guys, yeah, once again, Selena, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So yeah, that's it, guys, for tonight. I am gonna pack it in. I got some stuff I need to do. So, we'll be back next week with probably some real stuff to talk about. Yeah, thank you all for sticking around. It's been pretty fun so far. I'd like to thank Parallax, Critter, Gabby, and Matt, my mods. You guys are great. I'd like to thank my girlfriend, Dina. She's been super supportive of this the whole way through. She really kind of pushed me into doing this, and I wish I would have done it sooner after listening to her. She'd been telling me to do this for a while. And yeah, she's always been there for me, and she's amazing. So just want to say thank you to you also, sweetheart. So yeah, that's it, everybody. And yeah, have a nice night.